This is the closest to paralyzing perfectionism I've ever gotten. I've been really lucky to never have struggled with perfectionism, at least when it comes to painting. So imagine my surprise when I was offered a paid commission for which I could make anything I wanted, and yet I couldn't even get started. I had a theme, a clear idea, and even a colored sketch prepared, and yet I procrastinated for weeks before I could literally do anything. It is crazy how just one little detail, one little decision in the project could just throw this huge wrench into the machine, and I couldn't even see it. So what is this project? This project is a commission from the Piccolo Gallery, which is a non-profit started by one person who struggled a lot with getting started as an artist and whose Nana really loved the arts and really supported the arts. And when her Nana passed away, Carla decided to invest the inheritance in a local art scene. The soul of the project is just to create paid opportunities for emerging artists and hobbyists to create freely outside of the usual pressures of supply costs, paying bills, stuff like that. So this sounds really awesome, right? My theme is juxtaposition, with a little touch of the strange. We're encouraged to explore a little outside of our comfort zone. And I just went with the first idea that I came up with, which is that I've been kind of interested in dilapidated structures, the kind you see on the side of the farm roads, those old ghosts of homes once lived in, their walls kind of melting into perspective-breaking angles with the creepy shadows, seemingly digested by the elements. And naturally, I thought of fungi. I tend to stick to kind of pretty imagery, usually florals, plant life, animals. My first thought was water lilies, which is an iconic flower that in some cultures is symbolic for things like resilience and persistence, because these flowers will still bloom in dark and muddy ponds. So if I put all these elements together, it sort of tells a little story. The house that's falling apart, it could represent a mistake that you regret, or a past trauma, or this intrusive thought. I drew these turkey tail mushrooms to digest it, and then turn this whole mess into this beautiful forest of gigantic flowers. It reminds me of how often I see online people telling each other to process your feelings without quite explaining what that means exactly. And so I have this little ghost looking out the window to make the house look kind of like a lonely place. And then I have this owl at the top, just kind of overlooking the process, kind of sneaky-like. In some cultures, an owl is a symbol of wisdom and knowledge, and in other cultures, it's actually a kind of a terrible omen. And so I wanted to use that little owl to sort of add just a tiny bit of doubt into the situation. Like, am I doing this right? Is this the right path? So I had this neat little idea. So, like, what's the problem exactly? Despite the goal of the Piccolo Commission, the part where we're supposed to auction off the art at the end so that we may replenish the artist's fund and keep the ball rolling to create this wonderful utopia where artists can make art freely without pressure. That added a lot of pressure. If nobody wants to buy the painting, am I like taking an opportunity from another artist by creating a dead end? I also had this pressure to make it bigger, better, stronger than anything I've ever made before. It was just a lot of things, and I couldn't untie this ball of feelings in my head. At the end of the day, I just had to sit down and be like, I know that I want everything to go perfect. I need the plan to be perfect. But instead, I need to figure out what I need to do to progress. What's the one thing that's stopping me from starting any piece of this right now? So out of my giant tangled ball of thoughts, one shot out at me, which is, I don't know what size I'm painting this. Because I've created this pressure for myself that I should get a big, beautiful frame to display my work. And after wrestling with that for a while, I was like, There is no room in the budget for an extra fancy, beautiful frame. I already have a certain style of frame that I like that works for me. It looks kind of cute. I'm just gonna get that. And that's the size that I'm gonna do it. And it's just crazy that I had this one little decision in the project that I had to make that was holding me back because it was lost in this gigantic ball. That isn't to say that suddenly the process got easier, but I was able to take one step, the house. I was really nervous about the felted turkey tail fungi. Instead of buying colored felt, I decided I was going to get white felt and paint it. I think I was using acrylic gouache for this, just watered down quite a bit. The whole time I'm thinking, man, this is taking a really long time. Like, it would be so much faster to just paint the mushrooms, and then everyone could see that they're mushrooms. Do the felt mushrooms actually convey turkey tail? I don't know. This was also the most difficult artist statement that I've had to write for a while, and to get myself started, I decided to write it in the form of a little poem, and it's super cheesy, and I'm going to share it with you. These walls were built to keep me safe. They say that I should break them down, destroy, digest, dissolve, process them into something better, something useful, beautiful, more appropriate, easier to accept, until nothing remains but raw earth and bare feet. The third and final painting of this video is of frogs. It was a request from a sibling who wanted some frogs in the colors of jelly beans. And they're really into gardening right now, and so I am painting the frogs in a garden, and they're all going to look very grumpy and cute. the request, I wanted to make something more practical, so I turned it into a cool sketchbook cover. And so the sketchbook version is a real painting on that cover. This is a redo so that I could hang it on the wall somewhere. And by the time I got to this painting, I was in the flow. I felt like I could relax. And I think they really encapsulate actually my mood during this whole thing, where I feel like I spent so much time just all consumed by this one big project. I haven't even seen the art show I'm in right now yet. I feel like I've been cloistered. And so I've got these cute little frogs looking a little rough, looking a little grumpy. They're in their little garden because that's their little safe space. They're going to have a little doormat that's telling everyone to go away. I'm gardening.